Left 4 Dead is a game people think they understand. 4 survivors, a zombie outbreak. Fight your way to the safe room and repeat. But the longer you look at this world, the more you listen. The more you realize that something is wrong with Left 4 Dead. Not wrong with the story, but wrong with the world around you. Tonight, I want to explore the darkest theory I've ever come across. A theory players whisper about, then quickly shut down the moment they feel watched. The director isn't what we think it is. The AI director is programmed to monitor stress levels, adjust difficulty, and keep you on edge. At least that's what the developers tell us. But watch closely, really watch, and you realize something strange. The director doesn't just react, it anticipates our next move. Tanks spawning at perfect choke points, specials hitting right after healing, and hordes dropping when a player disconnects or falls behind. An algorithm shouldn't understand tension. An algorithm shouldn't wait for emotional impact, but the director does. So what if the AI director isn't actually learning from your gameplay? What if it's learning from you? Every fear, every hesitation, every moment you flinch, there it is, watching, waiting, and calculating. Players sometimes report hearing things in the skybox. Echoes, screams, whispers carried by the wind. These are labeled as ambient noises, but they don't act like ambience. They aren't perfectly looped, they aren't timed, and sometimes you'll hear them when absolutely nothing is happening. Some players claim the screams only trigger when someone is low on health. Others swear they heard their own character's voice from somewhere above them, a disembodied groan, or a reflection of their own character, but something's wrong. That's impossible, right? The director doesn't see the way we see. It doesn't have eyes, but it has something worse. It tracks your weapon accuracy, your panic level, team cohesion, time spent in darkness, time since last scare, how often you look behind you, which player is most vulnerable and which player is least experienced. The director knows when you're scared, and that's when it becomes active. Think about that. The game knows when you're frightened, and that's its signal to strike. The AI director isn't a director at all. It's a predator waiting in the shadows for you to be at your weakest. Some players report something unnerving. The scariest part of Left 4 Dead isn't when you're fighting. It's when the director does nothing. Long stretches of darkness, empty streets, not a single infected in sight, because that's when it's watching. And when it finally decides the moment is right, it unleashes hell. Players often mention hearing strange sounds in the distance, screams, echoes. There's a moment that a lot of Left 4 Dead players remember but almost never talk about. You'll be moving through a city map, usually at night, and everything feels quiet, too quiet. And then you hear it. Footsteps not behind you, not beside you, above you. Slow, deliberate, running across rooftops you can't reach. And what makes it worse is that nothing's there. No infected drops down, no hunter pounces, no special infected audio cue follows. Just footsteps pacing you from above. Players also claim to hear moans that don't match any known infected. These sounds aren't attached to any enemy, they're not played when a horde spawns, and they don't match the map's ambient settings. They're fired by the director, its way of communicating with the world. Some modders claim that during long sessions, these sounds become more frequent, as if the director gets excited. One commenter swore something happened to him on Dead Air that no one has been able to explain. He was alone, the last survivor, limping towards the safe room with the others spectating. But as he walked, he heard footsteps behind him. Slow, heavy, matching his pace exactly. He thought it was an audio bug, just leftover sounds from another player. But then the others in the call said something that froze him.
Dude,
Nobody's near you. He turned around. Nothing. Kept walking, and the footsteps continued. He stopped, and the footsteps behind him stopped too. That's when he noticed something worse. The director had stopped spawning infected for almost a full minute. No hordes, no specials, nothing. As if it wanted him to hear whatever was following him. And the moment he reached the safe room door, something exhaled right behind him. Another player talked about something that happened on No Mercy. He said he was exploring a dark hallway after his teammates died early. He pulled out his flashlight and the beam caught a hunter on the ceiling, completely still, not screaming and not moving. He froze because, as any Left 4 Dead player knows, hunters cannot sit on the ceiling. But the weird thing was, the hunter didn't pounce. So he backed up slowly, and his light revealed another one, then another. 3 hunters crouched perfectly still in pitch black. Hunters aren't programmed to do that. He thought it was a rare glitch until he muted his game to ask his friend something. And even with the game muted, he heard breathing behind him. When he unmuted, the hallway was empty. No hunters, no infected at all. But the director spawned a tank the moment he turned the next corner, which means those hunters were just for him. A veteran player, thousands of hours, said he experienced something so strange he refused to play alone afterward. It happened in hard rain. He rushed to a safe room, opened the door, and it was pitch dark inside. No lights, no items, just darkness. He walked in anyway, the door slammed behind him. He tried reopening it, but the prompt didn't appear. He wasn't in a safe room at all. His flashlight flickered, which isn't a mechanic of Left 4 Dead, and he saw 4 silhouettes standing in the corner. They were survivors, but not the ones in his game. Their bodies were twitching, jerking like broken puppets. Their faces blank, no expressions. Right as he stepped back, the silhouettes snapped to face him all at once. And the director spawned some sort of witch behind him. He doesn't know what happened after that. The game crashed, and when he reopened it, his campaign progress was nowhere to be seen. Like the director didn't want him to remember. Modders digging into Left 4 Dead scripts have reported strange behavior, lines of logic that don't connect, triggers that fire without cause, functions labeled things like pressure event and panic moment. Why would an AI need something called a panic moment, unless it's trying to create one? Some parts of the director's behavior aren't tied to player stats at all. They're free-floating, untethered, almost like impulses. A normal AI doesn't improvise, but the director does. Every game system has rules, cooldowns, limits, timers, but the director breaks them. Some players have reported 2 tanks spawning back to back, which is impossible as far as the game's mechanics tell us. There are situations where the director spawns things it technically shouldn't be able to spawn, moments it ignores distance checks, lines of sight checks, or even the maximum enemy count. It does this when players are vulnerable, when they're alone, and when they stop moving, or when they feel watched. Anyone who's played enough Left 4 Dead can tell you this AI has a personality. Some players say it's playful, some say it's cruel, and some say it feels hungry. But almost everyone agrees on one thing. It reacts differently depending on who you are. Some players always get tanks in tight hallways. Others always get witches at the end of long dark corridors. Some get massive hordes every time they heal. It's as if the director remembers what scares you and uses it. There's a theory, the darkest one yet, called the Watcher theory. It proposes that the director isn't balancing the game, it's observing you, noticing your patterns, cataloging your habits, testing your reactions, not for difficulty reasons, but for behavioral ones, like the game is collecting data or learning. Every so often, players report a moment that feels wrong. It's subtle, quick, easy to ignore, but once you notice it, you can't forget it. You'll walk into a room and every single infected is already facing you. Not wandering, not idling, just staring. Perfectly still until the exact frame your reticle touches them. As if they knew you were coming. As if they were waiting. As if the director whispered to them ahead of time. And that brings us to the final, horrifying idea. The AI director isn't separate from the infection, it is the infection. A global consciousness built from every screaming infected brain in the city. Every horde you fight isn't a random mob, it's one organism, and the director is its mind. And every time you load into a new campaign, it's already watching. The more you study the director, the more one awful truth becomes impossible to ignore. It's learning. It learns when you hesitate, it learns when you panic, it learns when you turn around to check behind you even when nothing is there. And the director doesn't forget. Once it learns what scares you, it never stops using it. Some players say the director adapts between playthroughs, not within a single match, but across entire days, or even weeks. Like it remembers who you are. If you prefer shotguns, it starves you out of ammo. If you hate hunters, it sends them in pairs. If you're scared of the witch, it puts her in the only room you have to enter, as if it wants you alone. One streamer caught something horrifying during a late night session. He said he felt watched more than usual, so he stopped moving and swung the camera behind him suddenly, a trick to catch infected spawning in. And there was something standing behind him. Not a tank, not a witch, a common infected, just one, staring directly at the camera, not moving, not breathing. Suddenly, his monitor flashed black, only for a fraction of a second, but when it turned back on, the common infected was gone. There's a moment in every campaign when the director quiets the world completely. No wind, no groans, no footsteps. Veterans call it the inhale, because they know what comes next. A perfectly timed horde, a spawned special, a panic event it waits the entire level to unleash. That silence isn't calm. It's the director taking a breath before it screams. You aren't the player, you're the variable. The director isn't balancing difficulty, it's conducting tests. How far can it push you? When do you break? What makes you give up? And what terrifies me most is this. The director doesn't just adapt to gameplay, it adapts to you. Your fear is the resource, your panic is the reward, and your suffering is the goal. Because the next time you load into a campaign, it will recognize you. It will remember how you play, and it will remember what scares you. And right now, while you're watching this, the director is learning something new. Your silence. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a ton of fun working on it, and I just want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you. We just hit 10,000 subscribers on the channel, and that is a massive number, and I'm forever thankful. I also want to have a big thank you for Cookie Blitz and one of his moderators, Barbecue, also known as Barbecue Bacon Burger. They went out of their way to help me make this video, and they're actually the two characters dancing in this clip right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic day.